So with this project, what we're doing is a number of exploratory mock-ups. So there are three main things we are trying to learn with these exploratory mock-ups. Number one is there are a number of different glazing system configurations. Number two is the challenge with the PTAC units. So we're trying to determine that if there is a new glazing system in place, how difficult it would be to install new PTAC units, and potentially if we're reusing some of the PTAC units and sleeves, how can they interface with the new glazing system? So we're trying both. We're trying new glazing systems with existing PTAC units and new PTAC units. And the third challenge we're looking at is there's a little bit of a challenge with the doors at this complex given that they're unit owned. Most of the complaints seem to revolve around air leakage, water leakage, condensation, and noise. You're looking at somewhere between 10 to 20% savings, energy savings with new replacement windows. And that's not only because thermally they're more efficient, but it's also because you're usually cutting down on a lot of the drafts and a lot of the air leakage. So there's a lot of heat loss and so forth just associated with air leakage on its own. Yeah, I'd say the biggest challenge is the PTAC units. The existing sleeves are a little problematic in terms of the way they're installed through the glazing systems. So that is a problematic detail. We're trying to do a different detail here where we have a full metal back pan, which is basically a metal closure in the opaque part of the glazing system. So there's actually an inner metal, an outer metal, where the outer seal is intended to provide the water shedding, the inner seal is intended to provide the air seal. So we're finding, some suites that have been potentially renovated where there's metal studs, some fiberglass insulation with some polyethylene sheeting, and then some drywall. We're finding other construction which appears to be potentially more on the original side, which is just a fiberglass insulation with a craft. It looks like some sort of a craft facer on it, which was intended, during original construction for this building, it would have been intended to provide some vapor control so that interior humidity is not diffusing through and potentially condensing on the precast. Unfortunately, what we're finding is some of the air seals. Back when this building was constructed, there was not a lot of attention to, let's say, air barrier continuity, whereas in modern construction, there's more attention to providing air seals around your interior, either your interior finishes or in your wall assemblies. So there is some opportunities here. There are some gaps we're seeing. There's opportunities for air to get behind, let's say, the drywall, behind the fiberglass face insulation and condense on some of the precast. And that has been reported in some other suites that there are some of those concerns. These exploratory evaluations right now are really targeted towards dealing with the glazing systems and the perimeters. So over the years, they're a lot more stringent in terms of energy efficiency and thermal performance within wall assemblies. In modern buildings, it would be a lot more insulation. And also the other big challenge is the air barriers. So for the most part for this building, it's really just the precast concrete panels, the joint seals between them, the windows and the seals around them that are really trying to provide most of the airflow control from inside to outside. So in these exploratory mock-ups, we have suites where we are replacing the door, we have suites where we're not replacing the door, so we can learn what detailing is required for each of those cases. The old construction was just a number of metal closures, which in some cases aren't very well sealed, so it has led to air and water leakage. Well, what we're finding so far is that we're able to effectively tie in the new window systems to the wall, like the different glazing systems to the surrounding wall assemblies. We've come up with some effective detailing for both securement, for air and water tightness, so far things are going well. For the sleeve, we have a plan in place. We're still in the process of implementing it to see exactly how it's going to work, but we have a plan in terms of, like I said, in terms of cutting the metal on the inside, the outside, and we're in the process of implementing it. So far I'm optimistic that we can make this work. Absolutely.